Hi everybody, Tommy from Discraft here. I just got a package sent from the guys over at Løft to check out their new Bohrium. Here it is. They are such an innovating company that I always just stay so focused on what they are doing because they're trying to push boundaries throughout disc golf and the way you can make discs. So this time they chose to push the boundaries of rim width, which is here, and also to make a rounded edge in here, which is basically the biggest talking point of this disc. Just to compare, I have a Nuke here, and you can see this sharp edge on here. On the Bohrium, it's completely rounded off, so that if you look at it straight on, it's going to be a drop going from here and inside of the rim. That's supposed to be so efficient aerodynamically that this disc is supposed to fly extremely far. That's going to be fun to see. Now, this rounded rim has caused some concern for me before getting the discs. That maybe you would have a tendency to early release it because you don't have that lip to like grab onto. On the Bohrium it's not really there, but to be honest, in the hand it feels really good, and I don't foresee a lot of issues when throwing it from early releases more than any other discs, because it does happen. So just a quick little info on where I am and where I am as a player, especially relating to this test of a very high speed driver. I'm 948 rated. I got 12th at the 2021 Danish Championships, and I usually throw nukes quite a lot. So I'm very used to the wide rim of a disc like the Bohrium, and I'm throwing about 140, 150 meters on a nice clear day on a field, and that's pretty much what I'm expecting the Bohrium to do as well. So, having thrown around the Bohrium for a bit, the flight of the disc is absolutely amazing. It is so cool. The way you're able to, when you hit it just right, of course, make it pop up and just turn and turn and turn and turn, and then have this really hard fade in the end. I hope you noticed it on some of the videos of the shots. Now, the big concern has constantly been this rounded rim, and to be honest, I didn't notice it at all while throwing the disc around. It felt very natural and very nice in my hands. I busted out my nukes to compare a few times, and the difference wasn't that big. Like, the nuke felt larger in my hands because it doesn't have that round rim. But other than that, I didn't feel like I was more safe with the nuke. I didn't feel like early releases would have more with the Bohrium. So all in all, the rounded rim for me is in absolutely no way an issue while throwing, except for forehands. The smart viewer would have seen that I didn't throw a single forehand on any of those video shots. And that's because I throw forehands with 2 fingers inside the rim. And on the Bohrium, my last finger, my second finger, it's right on the curve, on the rounding of the rim. And that just makes it absolutely impossible for me to actually throw a good solid forehand with it. It's basically just a 1-finger forehand for me. I know some others really feel like it's a great forehand disc, so I guess it all comes down to how your fingers are physically made, I guess. For me it doesn't work, for others it clearly does. And speaking of large, long fingers, which I have, the rim feels very nice to me, but so it does the same on the Nuke. And the Nuke for me flew further just with the few shots I did with it, which is the only reason I'm not gonna be able to back the Bohrium, because it would be a long distance disc for me, and if I get 10 meters more off the Nuke, then the Nuke is staying in there. But for others who don't feel comfortable or that comfortable with those very wide rims, I can definitely see this being a great option. Because if you have the power to turn it, then this disc will go very far. And I'm betting it's gonna go further than a Destroyer or a Zeus or whatever you're throwing already. So on that note, I would just absolutely recommend, if you're a player with a lot of power and not that long fingers, to seriously consider backing the Kickstarter and trying out these discs, because it's definitely a really good disc, but it's not for me because of the way my hands are made and the fact that I'm already throwing a very, very high speed disc. This just doesn't really add anything to it for me, but I'm sure it will for others. Thanks a lot for watching this review. I plan on making more. How often and how many, it's gonna determine on the feedback I get, as well as what disc we get to make it interesting. Hope to see you out there if you subscribe, and maybe comment on what I did well, what I didn't. I'll try to make it better for the next time. Thanks.